Hello, hello, hello. I am Dr. Sherry, and let's get started. So, let's give everybody a chance to come on into the room. Let's come on into the room. Who is on live with me today? And if you're watching this via playback, please do me a favor, as always, and give a thumbs up. All right? Because when you give a thumbs up, it helps this go out a little further. So let's come in, let's get started because today is a good one. You guys, today we're talking about your chart ruler. Your chart ruler. Now, why is this so important? Because, first of all, let me just say this. When you're learning your birth chart, especially if you're learning it for the first time, you're looking at all of these signs and all of these different placements, and you're probably getting confused as you know what. Okay. What I am telling you is to take it a little bit at a time. Take small chunks, small chunks, small chunks. And when you master that chunk, move over to your next chunk. So if you haven't watched all of my episodes, go back and look at one, and that's going to help you to watch them all in order. Okay. When you watch them in order, it's going to help you build on this big picture. All right, let's see who's in the house. Hey, Lakia, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Okay, you guys. So again, give a thumbs up because this helps push this out a little further. All right. And it will give more people the opportunity to hear what I'm going to talk about today. So let's just go ahead and get started. And as always, y'all know I got my little notes. So when you see me look down, I'm making sure that I'm staying on point because I got some good stuff down here. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Good, and you? Okay. All is well on my end. All is well. All right. So today, again, when you look at your birth chart, I know some of you see so many different placements and you want to know what each one means. But today I'm going to tell you why it's important, again, for us to understand all of that. But it's so important for us to kind of start here and understanding what the big picture is, not just in your chart, but in your life. All right. So you might say, oh, this is my theme of life. Okay. Or you also might say to yourself, if I go in that direction and do those activities, I will find my purpose. And this is so. So when you find your chart ruler is going to tell you to do those activities and go in that direction. All right. And therefore, you're going to find something meaningful to yourself in your life that's going to help expand and help explain what your purpose is in life, right? Why you do things differently and how you should do things in your life. The chart ruler is going to give you all of that information. It's the area in your chart where your chart ruler lives in that area, and that's the area that you must go. Got it? That's the area that you must go. So the chart ruler, let's look at it like this. The chart ruler is the narrator of your chart. So if the chart is a movie, let me tell you what the parts are. The sun will be the main character in that movie. All right. The moon is that emotional side, that part of your life that's the inner world. The rising sign is the costume, right? That's giving the vibe for your movie. But the chart ruler is the director and the narrator. So it's important that you understand who is directing your show. Hey, Sharon, how are you? How are you? Thank you for joining us. So we want to make sure that we are going as fast as we can to understand life. We're going as fast as we can. We're not going to waste any time in understanding how to break your chart down and understanding what your chart is really about and how that's going to help you, one, clarify your life, right? How it's going to help you validate some of the decisions that you make in your life. It's going to give you an understanding of what in your life is practical. And it's also going to open up the door to be deeply have a deeply personal look at who you are, to have a deep personal look at your inner world. Okay. We're going to begin to understand that. So your chart ruler is going to tell you um, what your life keeps returning to. That's a good way to put that. What your life always comes back to, even if you go this direction, some type of way you find yourself going back down this direction. So even when you try to avoid it, your chart ruler will constantly steer your direction in your life back in another direction that you must go. That is your chart ruler. All right. So today we're going to talk about these chart rulers, and as usual, y'all know I have a little image for you that's going to help. Let me see if I can add that to the stage. All right, y'all see that? Give me a thumbs up if you see that on your screen. Give me a thumbs up, and while I'm waiting for that, let me take a little swig of my water. Can y'all see that on the screen? Give me a thumbs up so I know you see it. Anybody, everybody, give a thumbs up so I can see that you see this on the screen. And while we're doing that, let me put my banner down because I am not showing it. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those who continue to give. I appreciate it. Thank you, CC. Okay, so we see the chart. Okay, so now these are your chart rules. Now everybody's looking at this, so don't freak out. Don't freak out because I'm going to explain it to you. Let me take the comments off the stage so y'all can see it a little bit more clearly. So this is a chart of the chart rulers and the planets that they rule comes from what we call your rising sign. So remember, and again, if you're jumping in for the first time, go back and watch my very first episode of this series, okay? And it's going to help you understand the different signs. You are 3 signs: your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. And your life is directed by the rising sign. So we're looking for your chart ruler. When we're looking at this one area of your life that's going to lead you in the direction that you should go, we're going to start with your chart ruler. And so today I'm going to, again, show you how to find the chart ruler in your birth chart. So first, let's start with this. If you are an Aries rising sign, okay, which is the first house. So we see the first house, right? Everybody look at the first house, which is over to the left. It's over to the left side of the chart. So the first house, and this is again for your rising sign. This is not sun sign. This is not moon sign. This is your rising sign. That's why you have to know the time that you were born. You have to know the time that you were born to be able to find this information. All right. So if you are an Aries rising sign, and let me just talk about that part for a minute, just to make sure you understand. Your rising sign is where in the heavens, right? That sign was rising at that time. It was literally rising on that axis line. Okay. AXIS. It was rising on that sign. Okay. So whatever sign falls in that placement right there, that's considered your rising sign. So if you are an Aries rising, your chart ruler is Mars. All right. So we're just going to go through these in a minute, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to find it in your chart. Okay. If you are a Taurus rising sign, your chart ruler is Venus. All right. If you are a Gemini rising sign, which is moi, okay, your chart ruler is Mercury. If you are a Cancer rising sign, which is the 4th house, your chart ruler is the moon. If you are a Leo rising sign, your chart ruler is the sun. If you are a Virgo rising, your chart ruler is also Mercury. Now, let me pause here for a minute because sometimes some signs, okay, will have the same chart ruler. If you are a Libra rising sign, your chart ruler is Venus. So already we know that Gemini and Virgo chart rulers are Mercury, and Taurus and Libra's chart rulers are Venus. Now, some signs have two chart rulers, and I'm going to explain that right now. If you are a Scorpio rising, you have two chart rulers. One is Mars and one is Pluto. And why is that? Because during the traditional astrology, it used to be that Mars was the chart ruler for Scorpio. But as time has changed and everything modernized and they started to find planets, so on and so forth, Pluto became the chart ruler. So that's why in some signs you will see two chart rulers. The ninth house, the chart ruler is Jupiter. So Sagittarius rising, your chart ruler is Jupiter. For Capricorn risings, your chart ruler is Saturn. For Aquarius chart ruler, your chart rulers, again, we got the dual going on. Okay, so for the 11th house, Saturn is the traditional and Uranus is the modern. And then the 12th house also has dual, Jupiter being the traditional and Neptune being the modern. So this is how this looks. So let's just talk about this traditional and this modern thing that's going on so you can understand what happened. So first of all, astrology, it has layers in history. There's layers in history when you're learning about astrology. But the two ruler things, they came about because these at the time, these different planets, it came about when they were discovered, like I said earlier. Okay. So traditional astrology is used from 2,000 years, and it worked with the planets that were visible to the naked eye. So that's very important. That's traditional. But the modern astrology added meanings after they discovered these planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So that's why you'll see them added to some of these other signs, which is Scorpio risings, which is Aquarius risings, and which is Pisces risings. All right. So we're just going to keep it simple. Okay. We're just going to keep it simple. And you will find that information is debatable. So a lot of times in the world of astrology, some astrologists will debate this, but that just gives you a foundation of being able to understand it. All right. Okay. So let's keep moving. So now let's go to how to read your chart. Let me share my chart with you. And I'm going to show you now how to read your chart so you can find your chart ruler. And so let me pull my chart up and make sure you guys can see me. Okay. Is everybody okay? We can see that. We're good. All right. So again, this is my birth chart. This is my birth chart. Now, again, I want you to look at the sign that was rising on my on my ascendant, my AC. Let's call it the AC and the DC. All right. So on my AC line, it's in the sign of Gemini. So if I'm looking up into heavens, Gemini was actually in the zodiac at the time that was rising when I was born. Okay, it was rising at the time. So that's why we say it's going to be in your first house. So Gemini is in my first house, and it was rising at the time that I was born. So I'm a Gemini rising. Now remember, let's go back. What was the chart ruler? Let me just flip back here. What was the chart ruler for Gemini rising? Put it in chat. What is the chart ruler for Gemini rising? Put it in the chat. Let me see if y'all are learning. Taurus sun, Aquarius moon, Gemini. Sagittarius rising. Okay, all right, Cece. So right now, and we're learning this. What is Gemini rising's chart ruler? Put it in chat so I know that you're learning how to do this. And then we'll swing back and we'll do CC's. Looking at this chart here, what is the chart ruler for Gemini rising? And I know that there's a little delay. So since I don't want to, okay, here we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. So we have Mercury, that is the chart ruler for everyone who is a Gemini rising. So now let's flip back over here. Let's flip back here. All right. So in my chart, you will see my Mercury, which is the ruler of everyone who's a Gemini rising. What house, and y'all gotta be careful with my chart because it looks like it's in one sign. It's in the 11th house, but it looks like it's in one sign, but it's actually in another sign. So looking at my chart, what is Mercury? Where is Mercury? Well, let me just tell you, because some of you might not know the signs. So my Mercury is actually in Taurus. Okay, so let me put my Mercury is Taurus. And it's at the 1st degree. So I'm putting it up here now. There you go. My Mercury is in Taurus and it's at the 1st degree. It's in the 11th house. So we're going to focus on Mercury, which is my chart ruler. My chart ruler now. It is my chart ruler. And it's in the 11th house in Taurus. So therefore, by it being in the 11th house, and I need to write that down too. Let me put that as well, because this is going to show you how to read your own chart. 1st degree, 11th house. All right, so you see that? So my Mercury, which is my chart ruler, is in the sign of Taurus at the 1st degree, the 11th house. That information right there tells me everything I need to know about the direction that I should be going in my life. So first of all, let's just deal with Mercury. And so when I'm doing this for myself, I want you to begin to do it for yourself. This is going to help you understand how to find it in your chart. Okay. And so how I'm going to break this down for you, because this is going to really help you to get it. And let me go back. I'm going to pull up some of the other episodes that we've had, some of the other images that's going to help you kind of get this. Give me a second. Let me see. Is this where? No. Let me go back. Because here we go. This is what I want. This is what I want. All right. So let's start here. So remember, my planet was, hi Deborah. My planet was Mercury. That was in the 11th house. The 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, and it's at the 1st degree. So let me put one more image up here that's going to help you guys. Let me give you that one. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to put all these up here because this is going to really help you understand how to find this stuff for yourself. So all these images that I'm putting up, this is going to help you. Is this it? Yeah, and this one. All right. So let's start with this one. Let's start here. Again, my chart ruler is Mercury. It is in the sign of Taurus. It is at the 1st degree. Now, we haven't talked about degrees yet, but even the degree that it's at will give you information. And it's in the 11th house. So first of all, let's just look at what Mercury is telling us, which is my chart ruler. And I'm going to keep saying that because you have a chart ruler too. So you got to hone in on what is my chart ruler telling me about the direction I should be going in, about the activities I should be doing in my life. Mercury is your communication style. It's your day-to-day routine. It's your work. It's your business. Mercury is all about communication. So what is that saying? That's telling me that the direction I should be going in my life should deal with communication. If those activities that I'm doing in my life should deal with communicating with people. So I got that down packed now. That's my chart ruler. If I am moving in the direction that's dealing with communication, I am where I should be. I am moving in the direction that I should move in. Now, I need to go a little step further because it's in Taurus. So now let me put this on the stage. Taurus is in the second house. So let's look at Taurus resources. Let's look at everything that's in that area of Taurus, which is the second house. That means things that's dealing with money, work, income, daily routines again, values, material possessions, priorities, habits, my job, my work ethic. All of that is surrounding Taurus. Okay. Now let's look at this. Let's look at the second house again. That's ruled by Taurus. Again, money, values. Okay. It's the house of concrete values. So if I'm sticking with things that are surrounding money, things that Venus is ran by Taurus. So luxury, right? And I'm mixing that in with my work ethics, with my resources, with my material things. All of that focuses on Taurus. And I'm matching that now with communicating. How do I build a life around that? How do I build a life around communicating to people about their resources, about their work, about their daily routine? Look at my life right now, you guys. I have a whole school that I teach people about their life, about getting resources. And I communicate via YouTube, okay, via the Zoom, via the meetings that I have. So what you say that I'm living out my purpose? Yes, that's what it looks like. I am going in the direction that I should go, stating what my sign says that I am, which is a Mercury. Okay, Mercury is my chart ruler. It's in the sign of Taurus at the first degree. We're going to skip the degrees right now because that's going to be another episode. And we talked about the houses. So now let's look at the 11th house because all of this energy is going on in the 11th house. Now let's look at what the 11th house is. It's groups, it's friends, it's social awareness, it's humanitarianism, okay? It's technology, it's hopes, it's wishes, it's the future. So I am aligned with where I should be, okay? Talk about technology. What are we on right now? Technology. And it's really just that simple. So now let me go back because Cece says she was a Sagittarius rising. I can't see Jupiter because of the pinned messages. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm focusing back on you now. So let's go back here. And Cece said she was a Sagittarius rising. So that means that she is in the 9th house and her chart ruler is Jupiter. So now let's go and let's look at the 9th house. Let's start here. So the 9th house here is the house of evolution, higher education, as communication, spirituality, right? Philosophy, ideas, travel. So she's ruled by, again, Sagittarius, which is the 9th house, which is Jupiter. Okay, let's go here. Let's look at Jupiter. Let's look at her planet Jupiter. So the planet that she's ruled by is her interest. Jupiter, it focuses on your interest in worldly topics, luck, philosophical or spiritual. And remember, Jupiter is about expansion. So wherever Jupiter is in your chart, it's talking about the area that it wants you to expand. Okay. And it's going to help you to expand. So if you're talking about someone who's a Sagittarius rising, like Cece, her life is going to deal with expansion in these areas. So that means she needs to be doing activities. She needs to be doing anything surrounding the expansion of her interest in worldly topics, okay, in philosophical or in spiritual expansion. That is so important. Oh, you have a Jupiter in Leo? I have, my Jupiter is in Leo. Oh, wow. Okay. So now let's come back here, because again, we're talking about the ninth house. I don't have her chart, so I don't know where your Jupiter is. Oh, your Jupiter is in Leo. Okay, so your Jupiter is in Leo. That's the fifth house. So now, by her Jupiter, her chart ruler being in the fifth house, so now this is also going to be surrounded with anything involving romance, love, affairs, play, creativity, fertility, having a childlike spirit. The fifth house represents children, joy, self-expression, drama, okay? And so all of these things that we're talking about in Leo, her Jupiter is in Leo, anything that, for example, with me, fifth house is children. Well, I was a teacher, okay? So that went perfectly. I love games, right? The Jupiter in Leo means you have a childlike energy, okay? You also could be in a line of doing things that help people expand in the romance area, in the love area, right? I mean, you could help people understand how to, be more sensual with one another. You could write love novels. I mean, there's so many different things that you could do with that area, but I'm just trying to show you how it plays out in your life. And so Cece is saying she's the fifth degree. We're going to talk about the degrees later. We're going to talk. So make sure y'all stick with me, because we're going to definitely talk about those degrees. So I hope that as we went through this, you understand now how your chart ruler plays out in your life, right? What this looks like in your life. So we know what's the first step. The first step is we have to identify our rising sign. That's the first step, you guys. If you don't know the time that you were born, you will not be able to find this information. You're not going to be able to find it. You have to know the time you were born. Okay? Then after you find your rising sign, find out what the chart ruler is for that rising sign. Don't make the mistake and put your sun sign, not your sun sign, your rising sign. Okay, that's step 2. Then step 3 is you're going to find that chart ruler and the house in your birth chart. So we're going to find out where that chart ruler is, the sign that it's in, and the house that it's in. And then that is going to be able to give you your theme of life. That's going to tell you the directions that you need to be going to. And we can layer this with even understanding the aspects. Now, we talked about aspects a little bit earlier. I don't know what episode that was, but that's when we were talking about the conjunctions and the squares and all that. Those are called aspects. So now you can really see, when you look at those aspects, what are you in conjunction with? What's a square, right? What is applying? What's opposing? All of these terminologies are coming up that helps you plan out your direction and your activities even more. All right. So this helps you to understand who you are, you guys. And I want you to make sure, and I want to say this because this part is so important. You never say that my chart ruler is in a bad house. There is no bad house. Sometimes 8th house and 12th house is labeled as bad houses. That is not so. That is not so. I know a lot of deep people that have some of their major placements in the signs of the 8th house, the 12th house, Scorpio, Pisces. So there's no bad house, okay? There are no bad houses. So we got to kind of get that out of our minds, right? Only thing this is that there are areas in our chart that demand you to have more of a conscious understanding, where your consciousness needs to be a little bit more in tune. So remember that. Don't say they're bad houses. Don't say they're bad signs. Okay. It's just that there's another aspect of consciousness that we need to have with those areas in our life. And don't say that my chart ruler is a weak one or I'm doomed. Listen, get that out of your head. Astrology is not doom. It's development. It helps us to develop. It helps us to understand, right? Then you can also say this, I don't relate to my chart ruler. Don't say that. That's not how you need to look at it. You may not relate to it yet. When I was younger, I never thought I was going to be a teacher. Do you know what I wanted to be when I was younger? I wanted to be a linguist. First, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but then I realized I was scared of blood. So that wasn't going to work. That wasn't going to work. Then I changed and I said I was going to be a linguist. Okay. I was going to go and I was going to interpret for governments around the world. And I stayed on that track for a minute. But again, my chart ruler kept bringing me back to children. So don't say that you don't relate to your chart ruler. You may not relate to it yet. Okay. Because that's why you're learning. That's why you're growing. That's why we're learning how to master these things. So chart rulers are often the part of you that matures over a period of time. All right, Ms. Deborah, you said, I'm really desiring to learn more. I want to be able to read my chart. Oh, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. So I hope these weekly lessons are giving you the understanding. Laugh out loud. That's probably why I have a hard time in love, so that I can teach it. Yes, this might be where an area that you need to teach, and you learn you learn at the same time, right? So it's helping you once again. When you find out where that chart ruler is, this is the direction that you should be going towards. These are the activities that you should be doing in your life, because it's going to now put you in alignment of where you should be, of what you should be doing. And when you're in alignment, you guys, I am telling you, things just happen. Okay. All right. I love you so much. That's all I have for you today. Don't forget, join me back here every Friday for the Private Life Show. And don't forget to go back and check out our Case Watch episodes for those who might be dealing with some court issues. We got a whole series on that as well. All right. So I love you. And until next time. Bye.